They say if you take Route 43 up through the Appalachian Mountains, past the abandoned mines and rotted clapboard towns, you'll find the old Mercy Hill Sanatorium, but only if it wants to be found. Most days, the trees swallow it. The vines cover the road. The fog rolls in thick as milk. Your GPS fails, your phone dies, and your headlights can't cut through the dark. But if you keep driving, and if the mountain decides it's your time, you'll see it. Sitting high on a ridge, crooked and black against the stars, a place that was never meant to heal, only to hold. Mercy Hill opened in 1913, built by the state to house the criminally insane, the terminally ill, and the forgotten. Over time, it became a dumping ground and institution for the unwanted. Patients arrived in chains, in silence, or not at all. Some were war veterans, others were children. None were ever seen again. It was self-sustaining. It had its own power, its own water, its own cemetery. By 1930, no one remembered it was up there. But the screaming never stopped. Dr. Cornelius Mather was the superintendent, a physician from Boston with controversial ideas. He believed suffering opened the mind, that pain revealed the soul. His wing of the hospital was nicknamed the Lower Labyrinth. No blueprints exist for that part of the building. No photos, no surviving staff. But there are stories of rooms with no lights, of restraints built into the floor, of screams that sounded like animals. Patients who entered the lower labyrinth didn't come out, except one. In 1947, a nurse named Adeline Brooks was found walking barefoot down the mountain road, clothes torn, body bruised. She was dehydrated, frostbitten, and nearly comatose. When she finally spoke, she said one thing: some of them can't die. Mercy Hill closed in 1952. Officially, a fire in the records room. Unofficially, something worse. Locals say the military came in, that trucks rolled up the mountain at night and rolled down empty. The gates were locked, the driveway overgrown, but no one ever tore it down. And sometimes, at night, hikers hear alarms echoing from the trees. Metal doors slamming, gurneys wheeling across linoleum floors that shouldn't exist anymore. In 1991, a group of teenagers broke in, urban explorers. They filmed themselves with a camcorder. You can find parts of the footage online, laughing, drinking, daring each other to go deeper. Then it changes. One boy, Danny Mercer, goes missing off camera. They find his flashlight spinning on the floor, then screaming. The last image is the camera being lifted by something inhumanly tall. The lens cracks, and a voice whispers, "More patience." Those who've made it inside and lived tell of strange smells: bleach, burned hair, rot, and hallways that loop. One door leads back to itself. Stairs go up, but not down. Windows look into rooms that shouldn't exist, and the lights flickering, buzzing only light the places you shouldn't go. They say the lower labyrinth is still sealed, that the original iron door, rusted and locked, stands untouched at the end of a forgotten corridor. But sometimes it's open, and behind it, they're still there. Not ghosts, not spirits, patients, still wearing hospital gowns stained with rust, still strapped to gurneys, eyes wide, lips moving without sound, still waiting for the next test. Some crawl, some whisper, some don't move at all until you're close, and then they scream, loud, like they remember, like they hate you for being free. In 2006, a psychiatric nurse named Thomas Heller went missing after bragging about spending the night in Mercy Hill. His wife found his phone on their porch 3 days later. It was playing a voicemail, a message he never sent, just static, and a voice in the background saying, "Vitals stable. Proceed with phase 3. The voice was Dr. Mathers. He died in 1954, or so they say. The most terrifying story comes from a woman named Claire Townsend. In 2013, she claimed she'd found a patient alive in the woods near the ridge. He was emaciated, hairless, covered in sores. His tongue had been cut out. She brought him to a ranger station. He died within the hour. Autopsy revealed something impossible. His organs had been removed and replaced. Grown, but wrong. Like tissue that wasn't human. Like experiments had continued. For decades. In the dark. No one stays near Mercy Hill now. Even the forest feels colder around it. Animals avoid the ridge. Birds don't nest in its trees. And sometimes, after it rains, people see footprints, bare, thin, with drag marks behind them, as if someone is crawling uphill, trying to get back. They say the lower labyrinth feeds on memory. It doesn't just trap you, it replaces you. That people who go in don't just disappear, they become part of the hospital. Their faces join the faded photos in the patient archive. Their screams echo through intercoms wired to nothing. Their names scrawled in blood on patient lists, too old to read. And on the coldest nights, if the wind hits just right, the mountain goes silent, and from up on the ridge, the lights come on, one by one, flickering behind shattered windows, buzzing to life like it never closed. And you'll hear it, the call, the old PA system crackling to life, paging Dr. Mather, new admission arriving. And if you don't ruin it, if you get too close, you might see them, the orderlies, their faces stitched shut, their eyes sewn open, pushing rusted gurneys, reaching for you, mouths mouthing something you can't hear, and the door creaks open, welcoming you back. Because Mercy Hill doesn't forget, it doesn't forgive, and once you enter, you're no longer a visitor, you're a patient, forever. And sometimes, the mountain lets someone go, one person, every 10 years, maybe less. Not to save them, but to warn others. They return, changed, silent, pale. They stare through windows for hours and never sleep. Some gouge their eyes out, others disappear again, wandering back into the trees. And in their final moments, they whisper just one thing: I saw him again. He knows my name. He never stops. And in that moment, everyone listening feels it, the pulse beneath the mountain, the breath of Mercy Hill. Still alive, still working, still admitting. Because the hospital never closed, and it's always looking for new patients.
There's a shadow in the hallway and a voice beneath the floor. I lock the doors, I hold my breath, but it's closer than before. A cold wind in the mirror, footsteps on the stairs. I feel it watching silently, but nothing's ever there.